Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's Last Post ceremony. My name is Emily Hiles, and joining us today from the Royal Australian Air Force is Corporal Chow Yi. This evening, we warmly welcome Group Captain Alan George, retired, representing the Air Force Association. We welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. The live stream of this ceremony is made possible by the Returned and Services League of Australia and the RSL and Services Club Association. We welcome members who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection by visitors to the memorial. If you're able, please stand and join in singing the National Anthem.
Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are one and free. With golden soil and wealth for toil, our home is got by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Please be seated if able. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where family and friends could mourn loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we will read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 103,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths and floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection.
Today, we remember and pay tribute to Pilot Officer Keith Cumming McPhie. Keith McPhie was born in Roma, Queensland, on the 26th November 1916, the son of John and Mary McPhie. He grew up amid a large family, attended Scots College, and went on to work as a station hand on his father's property, Kingu. More than a year into the Second World War, Keith enlisted in the 11th Light Horse in the mid-1941, but after 6 weeks, he discharged to enlist in the Royal Australian Air Force on the 17th August 1941. After initial training, McPhie began training as a pilot, attending elementary flight training school at Archiefield and service flight training school at Amberley and Malala. On the 24th of August 1942, Keith McPhie embarked at Sydney, bound for overseas service. As part of the Empire Air Training Scheme, he was one of almost 27,500 RAF pilots, navigators, wireless operators, air gunners, and flight engineers who throughout the course of the war joined the Royal Air Force squadrons or Australian squadrons based in Britain. After arriving in the United Kingdom in November, McPhie continued the training. In April 1943, he transferred to No. 14 Operational Training Unit, part of Bomber Command. This unit trained night bomber crews. On the 19th of August, just 2 years after enlisting in the Royal Australian Air Force, McPhie transferred to No. 57 Squadron, Royal Air Force, based in East Kirby. 57 Squadron operated Avro Lancaster 4-engine strategic bombers as part of Bomber Command. On the 5th of January 1944, Keith McPhie married his sweetheart, Helen. The two would not have much time to celebrate their nuptials. On the night of the 28th of January, Pilot Officer Keith McPhie was the pilot of a Lancaster who took off from East Kirby, detailed to bomb Berlin. Nothing was heard from the aircraft after takeoff, and it failed to return to base. With no further details of fate of the crew, they were presumed dead. It was later established that the aircraft had crashed at the village of Glave, near a lake called Klokovazay, about 14 kilometers northwest of Berlin. All the crew members had been killed. Pilot Officer Walter Andrews, Pilot Officer Sidney Davis, Pilot Officer John Macmillan, Pilot Officer Kenneth Morton, Sergeant Frederick Reeves, Sergeant William Weston, and Pilot Officer Keith Cumming McPhie, who was only 27 years old. McPhie was posthumously awarded Distinguished Flying Cross for attacks against a strong defended target in Germany. The award was presented to his widow. After the war, his remains were found and reinterred in the Berlin 1939 to 1945 War Cemetery. His name is listed on the roll of honor on my left among almost 40,000 Australians who died while serving in the Second World War. A photograph of his headstone is displayed today by the Pool of Reflection. This is but one of many stories of service and sacrifices told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Pilot Officer Keith Cumming McPhie, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old, as that we left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn.
at the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them.
Lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Pozier or in the low scrub at Gallipoli, with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the last post ceremony. On behalf of our director, staff and volunteers, thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial today and for your continued support of the Memorial's development project. We wish you all a very pleasant evening.